Teresa. I have some really fun everyday farmhouse things for you that are super easy. All right, so I am going to start off with that round. I've already stained it actually using the Debbie's DIY. I think it's like a grayish wash. It's like supposed to be like a barnwood sort of thing. I don't know. You'll see it here in a few minutes too. I'm going to use this Chalk Couture transfer. There's going to be a lot of Chalk Couture stuff in here today. I have been selling stuff at a shop, and I am definitely needing to like replenish my farmhouse stuff there. People buy it, so I'm happy to make it. And I use a lot of Chalk Couture stuff because it's very farmhousey, and it's really great for reselling because it's super simple, super easy. This one is geared towards puppies. I just recently got a puppy about a month and a half ago, I think. Her name is Love. She's adorable. She's super, super, super puppy. Let's call it that. My kids say she's cheeky. So I'm going in with this blue right now. This is, I believe, called Cadet, if I remember correctly. It's a Chalk Couture paste. And then I'm going to go in with the white on the paw print. I thought that was kind of cute. You know, if you're into the blues and the whites, I think it's really fun for like a late spring, summer kind of vibe. AKA always the weather we have in Florida. If you're new here, I am in Florida. It has been a little on the warm side, except for this morning I woke up to a nice little cold snap. It makes me remember it's actually January. Now we're going to just peel it on back. You don't want to let it sit too long because the paste will dry in the screen. I'll tell you a little bit about that here in a minute because it kind of happens. I am going to make this one double-sided. I wasn't 100% sure, and I was like, you know what? Let's just go for it. I think people really appreciate a double-sided sign, so I'm going to make a double-sided one. So I've got the same gray wash on both sides, and then on this one I'm going to make it a little different. I'm just taking some white chalk paint and doing it a little heavier on the outsides, and then I'll take a larger chip brush and go much, much heavier on the inside. I'll kind of alternate back and forth adding some water just to kind of help stretch that paint a little bit further. I feel like the water helps with that, especially if you've got a really thick chalk paint. This chalk paint is probably a solid like 3 or more years old. So it's definitely thick. It's at the bottom of its life. You know, the bottom of that big jar it's getting there. So I was like, you know what, it definitely needs the water. And then I'm going to just kind of go in and try to get a little heavier just to bring kind of everything together. Another Chalk Couture transfer, this is actually a part of a really large one, and I cannot recall if they make this one anymore. It's one of my favorites. I actually have 2 of them. That way I could kind of break one apart and keep one all the way together. I haven't cut them apart yet, so you'll see the bottom of it is down there. I went ahead and just taped it off just to make sure that I don't make a mess of it, because in a later project you're going to see I do make a mess of it, and I should have taped things off, but that's all right. I clean it up, so it doesn't matter, right? So this one is just going in with the black chalk paste, and then I'm going to peel it away, and you'll see it looks very, very nice. I went with more traditional on one side and then the fun puppy side on the other side. I do drill a couple of holes and add a bow. This is magnet on this side, that way they can pop it off. And I went with no bow on the other side. I couldn't find a great placement for it, so I figured no bow. Now I've got just a little, I believe they call it typically a breadboard. I got it from Hobby Lobby last spring when they put them on, like, I can't remember if I got it at the 75% off point or 90% point. I cannot wait for that again. I feel like they wait a lot longer for the spring stuff to go on that sale because they'll keep it at like 50% off forever through summer. And I'm like, come on, mark it down. They've already got them out in store. So I've been eyeing what they've got. I love the boards. I do a lot of resin on them, and I saved this one to do more of like a farmhouse thing. So I'm just using my really large, wide ruler to help me kind of get everything lined up right. And I'm going to go in with the white on this one. I felt like it was way more like bright and airy kind of feeling to it, I guess. Originally I had the black out and it was open, and I was about to start doing, you know, the things, the chalking, and I was like, you know what, I think that the white would be really fun with this one. So, and I'm really glad that I ended up with the white. So I peeled it away. Now there's a little bit of drying all the way over on the F, but I think it is just perfect for the basic look. I did let it dry to a complete like dry point. You can speed that up with a hair dryer or a heat gun or something like that. And then in this little pack, it comes with a couple of different like little reef options. So I'm going to use this one that looks more like a bit of greenery, and I'm going to go in with the color Eucalyptus. I have just a little singles pack because my jar of eucalyptus has dried a little bit and I'm making a mess and all the things. If you ever get a jar of paste that is dry, you can just add some distilled water to it and kind of bring it back to life. I'm in the process of doing that. I just put the water in there, let it sit for a little while, and then I'll come back and kind of try to, you know, clean it up and get it reconstituted, if you will. This is giving me a little bit more trouble, so what I'm going to do is kind of get everything lined up where my bottom of my letters are right there on the edge of that backing. And I'm just laying the backing down just to make sure that the sticky part of the transfer isn't touching the rest of the part that I've already done. And I'll check it a couple times just to make sure that it's all lined up. And it is. The thing about using the silkscreen transfers or you know, transfers in general is you can kind of pick them up and move them around, whereas you don't really get the option to do that with like your Cricut stuff. Cricut you would do obviously all in one go. Here's how it turned out. I was debating on a bow. I don't know. I want to do bows more often because I feel like a lot of people really like them, but I'm kind of horrible at them. Notice you did not see the bow tutorial on the first project because it took me a while to get it, and I get frustrated pretty easily with bows. I'm just not very good at them. So I'm going to do yet again another one. This one I've had in the collection for a little while, and I think this one is still available if you're interested in it. As far as Chocator goes, I know a lot of people don't think, you know, they don't like it. They're expensive. They're not cheap. I'll be really honest. They're not cheap. However, you can, you know, use them quite a few times, and you can actually kind of spray on a sticky stuff on it if you needed to. And it's just, like I said, because I'm making stuff for a shop, it makes sense for me. And I'll be really honest, if anyone's interested, let me know. I'm happy to talk to you about it and see if it makes sense for you. And if it makes sense, I definitely recommend being a designer because the discount makes it much, much more worthwhile. They've got some different specials going too, so if you're interested, let me know. So here I am, and I've done the eucalyptus on the greenery part, and now I'm going in with the gray color storm. It's like it's coming back, guys. And I left the bit of greenery one on for too long, and it is actually going to show a little bit dry. You see, it's very faint. I could peel it back up and put down my transfer and kind of go over it again. I decided not to, mostly because I was lazy and I didn't feel like it. So I was like, you know what? It's okay. It's there. It's faint. It's just, it's good. It's all right. It's okay. Everything is fine. Do you guys ever do that with your significant other, say things are fine and they know that that's really not fine? Same. So this one turned out super cute too. It's a riser. I don't know if you can completely tell that. It's not a board. It's actually a riser. It's got little feet underneath it. I think it came from Target. If I remember right, it came from Target. So this one's super fun. It says, shut the front door. No, really, shut the door. There's bugs getting in. It's supposed to be like a very southern kind of thing. So hopefully this does pretty well at the shop. It's just a little sign. Like I said, I needed to replenish my farmhouse style stuff. So I fuzzed the transfer just to make sure it's not going to be too sticky and it's not going to pull stuff up, and it doesn't fit perfectly. So we're just going to squish it down. They are like a fabric silkscreen stencils, and so you can really squish it down. And if you're not into chalk, there actually is a device out there, like a machine system kind of thing. I've seen my friend Trish from the Crafting Cousins kind of show it. I'm on the fence on whether I want to buy it just because I do a lot of chalk stuff, and I think I might eventually get it. But basically, you design your own ones, and then they also have them, of course, different things on Amazon and all kinds of different places you can get silkscreen stencils, and it will kind of have the same effect. And there's a couple different brands out there too. I've been eyeing some of the Makers Box, I think. I can't remember if that's the name. They're fun looking. They're super different designs. They're way more in like the shabby chic direction. And some farmhouse, there's a lot of fun stuff there too. So you never know. You never know what I might get into. I'm going through on this one with the color Jade. It's super close to Eucalyptus. If you're looking at those two colors, there's not a drastic enough difference in the two. I feel like this one's a smidge deeper. I think my preference is on Eucalyptus though. See, like I said, it's just a smidge deeper. You can really get away with not buying both. But if you had to pick between the two, I'd say probably pick Eucalyptus. I'm going over it with a little bit of the surface wax from Chalkator. Any wax honestly will do. And then I'm going to go in with that gray wash. I wanted to kind of protect the writing because if anything is too wet, you could smear the lettering. So that's why I was trying to make sure that I didn't smear the lettering. This stuff is super watery. It's not quite like a wax, whereas like if you're looking at like the different DIY waxes, the dark, the black, the clear, the white, I have them all. I even have, I think, like the teal and a gold. Like I said, I'm a bit wax obsessed. If you've been here for a while, you know that. So this one is kind of leaving a very rustic look. That's really what I wanted. I'm going a lot heavier around the edging of the frame. That's why I left it all white, because I was lazy. I didn't feel like taping it off. And I thought that this would be a nice way to get around that, and I am going to also go through and hit a little bit of the inside. Not nearly as much. I didn't want to go as heavy, just so it made it look like there was a little bit of that frame. And the wax is really helping me to kind of glide it through and not get too heavy in one spot. Here's how it turned out though. I think it turned out super cute. These are all in a box, ready to go over to the shop. And if you guys are curious about how that all goes, let me know. I'm happy to talk more about it. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video and you're having a wonderful new year so far, and I'll see you next time.